हम ही बोलते हैं सबके बड़े
सबके सबके थैंक कर देना, फैमिली मेम्बर्स, फैमिली मेम्बर्स और काम पड़ोसी लोग जो जिस तरह से मदद किया होगा आप जनता को पड़ेगा।
जी हाँ, शोकग्रस्त परिवार माता श्री के श्रद्धांजलि में कुछ शब्द बोलने के लिए पर्ची है मेरे पास। कुछ वक्ता हैं जो प्रार्थना करेंगे और माता श्री के प्रति श्रद्धांजलि के 2 शब्द कहेंगे। सबसे पहले मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा, परिवार के एक सदस्य हैं, बहुत जाने माने व्यक्ति भी है, रेवरेंड जेम्स भगवान जी को कि आए आप प्रार्थना कर लें और माता श्री के प्रति 2 शब्द बोलें।
Good morning, everyone. I will speak on behalf of Auntie's side of the family later, but I will just lead us in a prayer for now. As some of you may know, she came from a Christian family. At baptism, she was given the name Rose, a name that was passed on to one of our cousins. So, in our faith, we believe that God's love is so big that it doesn't matter what faith path you walk, each one of us is a child of God. So I will lead us in a prayer. Let us pray. Hum sab pratna kare. Almighty, eternal God, in your fatherly goodness, be kind to the soul of your daughter Rose Suruj. Cleanse her from whom you have called from this world of all her faults. Take her into the realm of light and peace, and into the community of your saints, and give her her share of eternal delight in your kingdom. God, you creator and savior of the faithful, forgive all the sins of your servants' souls. Let them receive forgiveness through our pious prayers, for which they have always been yearning. Eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord, and may let perpetual light shine upon her. May her soul and the souls of the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. दूसरे वक्ता है हमारे जिसे मनाना चाहेंगे, बहुत ही जाना माना नाम है, दामाद है घर के श्रीमान नैनेंद्रानंद जी। आपसे आग्रह है कि आप आकर के माता श्री के प्रति 2 शब्द यहाँ से बोलें।
Reverend Bhagwan will speak on behalf of Mum's side of the family. I have been given the task to talk about some of the other things about her. She would have been 82 on 3rd of December this year if she had lived. She was born on 3rd December 1938 in Vudi, Missouri. Daughter of James Sri Bhagwan and Rajwanti Bhagwan. In her early years, in this country there were very few schools. So she, like others, went to Dudley High School in Suva. That is where she met her husband, the late Ambika Prasad Maharaj. They were both at the time teaching at Suva Methodist Primary School. After her marriage, on 6th of May 1961, she joined the Maharaj family as the eldest daughter-in-law, not only of the immediate family, but of the large extended family, all who hailed from Nasinu, 8 miles. She remained at the family home all these years until her demise 4 days ago. She was a dedicated wife, daughter-in-law, mother, sister-in-law, Barki Amma, Dadi, Aji, and Nani. She had 4 children. Only son, Sunil Maharaj, daughters Vinita, Irene, and Evelyn. Her husband's grandfather, the late Gajadhar Maharaj, and his wife came to Fiji from Faizabad in India, from a village known as Halkarapurwa, which is in Uttar Pradesh. They served the indenture in Lotoka. Thereafter, they moved to Nasinu 8 miles after indenture ended. After marriage, my mother-in-law traveled with her husband, who was a very well-known radio personality around, staying in Bar, Lotoka for several years. Once they settled into Nasinu, she wholeheartedly adopted, after marriage, the Hindu culture and blended extremely well into her new faith. Her husband met an untimely death at the tender age of 46 in 1983, some 37 years ago. It was a very difficult time for her and the young children who were growing up. She immediately took the cudgel of being the matriarch of the family and played the role of father and mother to her 4 children. She saw the son, the 2 daughters married, and in came Pradeep and I into the family. Sneh, who is in America, as the daughter-in-law, and late Sunil's wife. She too joined the family. Mrs. Maharaj saw the family grow. She's blessed with 4 grandchildren, grandsons, and 1 granddaughter. 3 of them reside currently in the United States. Rajat, Rajiv, and Rahil. Krish and Shubha are in Fiji. In this difficult time of COVID-19, and with no flights coming in and out of these fair islands, the very large family in America, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand cannot be with us here today. But they all have expressed sympathy and provided moral courage to the children and grandchildren by telephone calls, Facebook messages, and other means of communicating. My mother-in-law enjoyed many things in life. She had a love for music, a love for movies, but most of all, she loved to take her rides whenever it was possible. She always looked forward to her Fridays when her daughters and now the grandson and granddaughter would join her and spend the time together. She loved to go visit places. At a drop of a hat, she would be ready to go and see either new or existing places. She was much loved by everyone. She leaves behind a very large extended family who are now, of course, all over the world, and who today many are seeing the live streaming of a funeral cortege. She will be sorely missed by everyone whose life she touched. In her own way, she was always a very unassuming, very generous, very kind person. But ask any of her grandchildren, and they will vouch for the sternness and the discipline that she imposed in them and in the role that she played in their upbringing. And they all have turned out to be fine young people. she is today in a better place. But out of all, every Friday night, her daughters, her grandchildren will remember her for the rest of her life. And particularly the times that they have spent in her bedroom, watching television, or just being with her. She is gone, but she's not forgotten, and she will forever remain in all our hearts. Thank you.
जी हाँ, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद नरेंद्र जी। एक और वक्ता है हमारे यहाँ पे भी, मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा शुभा जी को। जी हाँ, सुबह से पहले मैं रेवरेंड जेम्स को एक बार पुनः बुलाना चाहूँगा कि आप आकर के जो परिवार के प्रति जो 2 शब्द है आप आकर के बोले, फिर जिसके बाद में सुबह फिर हम प्रार्थना करेंगे, अंतिम प्रार्थना, जिसके बाद में शो को लेकर के आप अंदर जाएंगे जो अगला कदम है आगे बढ़ने के लिए।
धन्यवाद पंडित जी। I find it a little difficult this morning because I am not the oldest in the family to speak on behalf of Auntie Sai. And so I want to begin by acknowledging, because in our side of the family, I'm the oldest boy, but there are many, many, many women ahead of me. Wise older women, not old women, but wise older women, who I want to acknowledge, my older sisters, who any one of them could be speaking here on the family's behalf. And I want to acknowledge Auntie's cousins who are here and members of the extended family. As we heard, Auntie Suruj was the child or daughter of Master James Sri Bhagwan and Rajmati. She was the 3rd child, the eldest of the 2 girls. 2 older brothers, David Senior, Mother David is sitting here, and our father Benjamin. A younger sister Violet, and brothers Narendra, Mahendra, Rajendra, and John. Last night I reached out to her 2 surviving siblings, John and Violet. So they shared a few things with me that I will share with you today. According to John, and it's not hard to believe, she was the most popular and beloved in the whole clan. As we heard, she was married on the 6th of May 1961. Because her parents were Christians, her uncle and aunt represented the family during the ceremony, but also because they saw her as the daughter of the whole clan. And according to John, the following day, when the time came to go to her in-laws for good, the whole of Lambao, the community in Vudi, Nausori, came out to see her off. And he estimates that there were close to 300 people there that day. He was a 9-year-old, and he said that on that day as a 9-year-old, he felt so sad because he feared he would never see his sister again. Of course, he did. And even more recently, they spent time together this year. But yesterday, as he was sharing, he said he had that same feeling in his heart of when he was 9 years old, of not seeing his older sister again. Now, if because of some strange twist of fate, my parents would not have married, the children of my mother would still have referred to Auntie Suruj as Auntie, as Mum and Auntie Suruj were classmates together at Dudley House School in Suva together, along with Auntie, who is here as well. I don't know if they were three musketeers, but they were very close. And so our mother Rachel and Auntie Suruj had a very close relationship beyond that of sisters-in-law. They were sisters because they went to school together, and knowing my mother, they would have probably got up to some mischief together as well. Of all of Master Bhagwan's children, she was the only one to follow her father's footsteps and be a teacher. Again, John says she was a very popular teacher. And at Suva Methodist Boys School, where she met Master Ambika Maharaj, as we heard already. Her younger sister Violet in Calgary says that she was like a mother to her, a mentor to her younger sister. She took life very seriously, while Violet was always trying to be one of the boys, and still to this day is a tomboy. And while she loved playing soccer and doing other things with the boys, Auntie Suruj will always remind her, behave like a lady. I think to this day she would have still been reminding Auntie Violet to behave like a lady. We have times in our lives when we used to travel from Lautoka, where we lived, and in those days, before this fancy highway was built in the Suva-Nosori corridor, you could actually drive up the driveway to the family home. And even if we were going to Dilkusha for a church service or to visit the girls' home, it was eyes right every time, even if we were not able to stop, because we knew that Auntie was there. Some of us in the times when we were growing up in Lautoka had some wonderful memories together before Uncle's untimely death of spending time in Lautoka. And she was always, for my mother, a very close friend. When my father passed away, our father passed away, it was very important to my mother that she had someone who was not just a sister-in-law but was a close friend that she could talk to. And they would have regular conversations on the phone, and I would be the driver whenever there was a death in the extended family, and come by and pick Auntie up and take her along. To my dear sisters, brothers-in-law, nephews, nieces, our love is with you. And we know that she is with those that she loves in God's hands, in God's kingdom, smiling on all of us. Take heart in that in these difficult times. You know how much she loved you. Hold on to that. May God bless you.
Thank you very much, Reverend. जी हाँ, आखिरी वक्ता है हमारी शुभा जी, जो अपनी नानी श्री के प्रति 2 शब्द कहेंगी, जिसके बाद में फिर हम अंतिम प्रार्थना करेंगे। धन्यवाद।
Morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Shubha, and I'm the proud granddaughter of Mrs. Surujmati Maharaj, who we dearly and fondly call Ma. I have been given the opportunity to give a eulogy for Ma on behalf of her proud grandchildren, Rajat, Rajiv, Rahil, Ben, and myself. So this is the message. My very first memory in life is Ma. When I was about 3 years old, I woke up in my room. I walked into the kitchen and Ma was the first person I saw. Since that day, she has always been with me. Even though she is not here now, she is still with me in my heart. I love you, Ma. You're Raji. This is the message from Raji. No words can describe the hole you leave in our lives now that you aren't here. You are the reason our family is so loving and have made so many blessed memories. Though we didn't speak every day, you were always on my mind, and my heart broke every day I wasn't with you. You are more than my Ma to me. You are my heart, my soul, and I will always love you. This is a message from Rahil. It is impossible for me to articulate in words what Ma means to me and our family. To the outside world, she was a respected, disciplined, and a very private person. But my memories of her are of someone who offered only unending love and support for her children and grandchildren. On this very sad occasion, I want to share my favorite recent memory with Ma. When we visited her in 2018 for her 80th birthday, I stayed alone with her in Arinfua one night in a silo. Around 2 a.m. in the morning, Fua and I were sitting with her in the living room, and I mentioned how I couldn't sleep because of the jet lag. Let's go for a ride then, she said. Within 10 minutes, Ma, Arinfua and I were on the road, and we spent the night talking about their memories of Aja while driving around downtown Suva at 3 a.m. That was Ma. Even at 80, she was fun, adventurous, and lived life to the fullest. As we all mourn this great loss to our family today, I find solace in the fact she lived a complete life and is now reunited with a beloved husband. This is a message from them. Dearest Nana, thank you for everything that you have done for me in my life. Whether it would be by teaching me or guiding me through life, you have always been a role model to me. There was never a moment when I didn't think of you in tough times and situations where you taught me how to be strong and combat it. He did it when I was young, he's still young. I always looked forward to coming to your house, for spending time with you and hearing about the interesting stories that you had for me. I always looked forward to Fridays where we'd spend time with you, whether it would be through going for a ride or staying at home or having our usual conversations. Thank you for always being there in my life. You're the best grandmother I could have ever asked for, and you will be dearly missed by everyone. And Nana, you will always have a special place in my heart. I love you, Nana. So, before I continue, so all four of us, Rajat, Rahil and I, we would always call Ma, Ma. And we would never call her Aji or Nani. We would always call her Ma. And Ben is the only grandchild who would call her as Nana, and she loved that. She loved to be called Nana. So yeah. And Ma must be very proud of you today, you know. Very proud. Ma holds a very special and wonderful place in our hearts. She is the best and the most loving grandmother we could have ever asked for. We are very fortunate and blessed to be raised by Ma. Ma always took care of us from the time we were born till now, and we know, Ma, that you will always be there with us, guiding, protecting, and blessing us as our guardian angel. We will miss everything about you, Ma, in every moment that we have shared with you, which are many, such as your loving and your beautiful, sometimes cheeky. You know how she does something naughty and she has a cheeky a giggle? Sometimes cheeky but cute smile and giggles. Our Friday nights, holding your hand and walking slowly with you, playing cards on Fridays, where we were always partners, cooking for us, spoiling us, telling us and sharing stories about our memories with Nana, and so many more. When we were younger, we were showered with love and attention by her. As we grew older, we did the same for her. So like Mimosa has said earlier, Ma loves her rides. Even if it was only for 5 minutes to go to the store, every Fridays all 6 of us would somehow try to fit in the car and go on the rides. To either the Silver Point or around the city. Sometimes we would go to McDonald's for her soft serve, and of course, she would bring out a scroll for her grocery list for her shopping. Oh, Nana, I would, Ma, do you have to go shopping? She would be like, oh, Nana, kuch nahi. We're like, Nana, kuch tha, like, you know. And then we'll be teasing her, a big scroll nikali, where she would take out a scroll of grocery list, go into the pharmacy to replenish her meds, and of course, appointing or rather trusting me to smuggle some normal pain for her. She would be enjoying every bit of her rides, admiring the scenery, conversing with us, and sharing her memories. She has always been caring and protective. One rainy afternoon, I felt like eating some fulori, because I love eating fuloris. I felt like eating some fuloris, but then everyone decided to make it some other day. So after which I left to play cricket with the boys. When I came back, I saw Ma frying them for me. She has always been protective over me because I am her only granddaughter of the boys, of all her boys. When we were all on a family vacation at Wendon, I was tasked to take the garbage out. Ma told me not to go alone and asked somebody to accompany me, but I still insisted to go alone. So while on my way, I feel somebody's following me, and I thought to myself, maybe I should have listened to her. I bravely looked back and saw Ma coming at her own pace. I know she walked slowly, but the fact that, she still came after me just to make sure that I wasn't alone and was safe. We all have been so blessed to have such great and beautiful memories with her. As you all know and will agree, we know Ma as a very beautiful, inspiring, elegant, dignified, disciplined, kind, loving, caring, strong, devoted, protective, and a very compassionate person. We hope to become just like you, Ma, and I sincerely hope if we have children in the future, they become just like you. We are who we are, largely because of you, Ma. You are our inspiration, our mentor, and our loving grandma. We are so blessed and proud to be called your grandchildren, and we hope we have made you proud, Ma. And we will always keep making you proud as your grandchildren. Thank you, Ma, for your inspiration, for your guidance, for your teachings, your values that you have instilled in us, your love, and of course your upbringing. We will always follow them and make you proud. We all love you, Ma, and we thank you for everything that you have done for us. Always guide us, Ma. We will miss you dearly, Ma, every single day. But we have taken comfort that you are in a very beautiful and peaceful place with God, Nana, and Mama. And your spirit and love will always be present with us and in our hearts. We will love you always. Shubha. Thank you, everyone.
धन्यवाद बेटा। जी हाँ, इससे पहले कि मैं अंतिम प्रार्थना जो है उसे शुरू करूं, शायद कुछ लोग अगर देर से आए हुए हैं, अगर आप अंतिम दर्शन जो है करना चाहते हैं, आप आ सकते हैं, इधर से आए, ऐसे घूम करके आप जा सकते हैं। सर्वप्रथम स्वर्गीय सूरजमती महाराज की जो बेटियां हैं, दामाद, नाती, नातिन, उनके ओर से जितने भी लोग यहाँ पर हैं अभी, और शायद आप जानते हैं कि कई परिवार के जो मुख्य सदस्य हैं, आज जो कोविड-19 है उसके कारण जो फ्लाइट्स नहीं चल रहा है उसके कारण यहाँ पे नहीं पहुँच सके हैं, तो सभी की ओर से माता श्री के प्रति श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करते हैं। और जो परिवार है, जो बेटियां हैं, दामाद हैं, नातियां हैं, नातिन हैं, सभी की ओर से जितने भी लोग किसी भी तरह से माता श्री के प्रति अपना सहयोग दिए हुए हैं, आप सिर्फ आकर के परिवार के साथ में कुछ समय बिताएं। जितने भी लोग अगर यहाँ पे रेवरेंड जेम्स भगवान जी ने आकर के यहाँ पे प्रार्थना किया है, और भी जितने वक्ता आदि हैं, किसी ने भी किसी भी तरह से परिवार को सहयोग दिया है, भले ही श्रद्धांजलि के 2 शब्द कहे हैं या सिर्फ आप आए हुए हैं समय निकाल के, तो परिवार की ओर से आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दिया जाता है कि आपने आकर के ऐसे समय पे उनका हाथ बटाया, उनका साथ दिया, तो आप सभी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है। चलते हैं, हम अंतिम प्रार्थना करते हैं, जिसके बाद में शो को आगे की क्रिया के लिए हम अंदर लेकर के जाएंगे। अनाधिनिधनो देव शंख चक्र गदाधरा, अक्षय पुंडरीकाक्ष प्रेत मोक्ष प्रदो भवा, अत्सि पुष्प संकाशम पीतवासम संयुच्यतम, ये नमस्यन्ति गोविंदम न तेषा विद्यते भयम्। कृष्ण कृष्ण कृपालु त्वं गतीनाम गतिर्भवा, संसार वर्णम मग्नानाम प्रसिद्ध पुरुषोत्तम, नारायण सुरश्रेष्ठ लक्ष्मीकांतं वरप्रदाम्, अनेन तर्पणेनाथ प्रेत मोक्ष प्रदो भवा। हिरण्यगर्भपुरुषः वयक्ता वयक्तं स्वरूपधृतम्, अस्य प्रेतक्षे मोक्षार्थ सुप्रीतो भव सर्वदा। ओम शांति शांति शांति। जो सहयोग देने वाले हैं आप आ जाएं यहाँ पे साथ में।
Amen.